Hello and welcome back to the Blackfoot Book Club for episode 29, which is also part 15 from my self-published book in August of this year entitled The Spirit of Cricket. So if you turn to your personalised copies, you will see on page 206 there's a chapter entitled Rain, Rain, Go Away, Come Again Some Other Day. Friday the 21st of July 2023. England 592 all out, Australia 317 all out and 113 for 4, trailing by 162 runs. Day 3 of this Ashes Test match comes in two halves, and in the style of Christopher Nolan we must therefore review this intoxicating day in reverse. Act 1, where I end and you begin. Usman Khawaja, Court Bairstow, Boldwood, 18. With a maximum of 50 minutes to bat until the afternoon tea break, Khawaja and regular opening batting partner David Warner looked comfortably set and had weathered the early bowling blast from England's James Anderson and Stuart Broad. On the cusp of the break and with only his second delivery of the day, Mark Wood's extra pace and bounce snagged the faintest of edges from Khawaja's bat and he had to go. Australia are 32 for 1 and still trail England's first innings total by 243 runs. David Warner, Boldwood, 28. The fighting alley cat that is David Warner continued a repeating pattern of his entire tour to date, Headingley aside, by digging in, restraining from his usual array of elaborate attacking shots and establishing a solid platform from which to build a big, match-saving innings. But Warner fell once more in his 20s and or getting himself in and set, by this time dragging on an otherwise innocuous delivery from Chris Wokes that flicked off the under edge of his bat before crashing into his stumps. Australia are 54 for 2 and still trail England's first innings total by 221 runs. Steve Smith, Court Bairstow, Boldwood, 17. Steve Smith joined his wisecracking and cricketing brother-in-arms Marnus Labuschagne, and for 43 runs they made batting look comfortable and rather easy against an England bowling attack regularly rotated by Captain Stokes. Whilst Moeen Ali was particularly poor and both Anderson and Broad wholly ineffective, Stokes returned once more to his speed merchant from Ashington and he came up trumps with the most prized and valued wicket of all. The situation appeared a perfect setup for Smith, the newly #1 ranked batsman in the world. His task was to bat for as long as possible, a task both he and Labuschagne both revel in, but for some inexplicable reason he wafted tamely a leg-side bouncer and globbed a simple catch through to Johnny Bairstow behind the stumps. In the vernacular of cricket it was a strangle, a waft and a real gift of a wicket, but you try telling that to Ben Stokes as he hurtled towards Bowler Wood, a guttural roar of delight accompanying him as he embraced his fast bowler. This was a big wicket. Australia are 97 for 3 and still trail England's first innings total by 178 runs. Travis Head, Court Duckett, Boldwood, 1. Man of the series in the last Ashes 18 months or so ago, Travis Head has been deliberately targeted every time he's walked to the wicket and immediately faced short pitch bounces to unsettle him, disrupt his rhythm and crucially prevent him from scoring huge match-changing runs. The ploy worked once more as Wood's lifting delivery beat him completely, forcing him into a ragged defensive shot that saw the ball loop gently to Ben Duckett in a deep gully position, and Wood had his third victim of the afternoon for the concession of just 17 runs from 7 outstanding overs of fast-paced bowling. Australia are 108 for 4 and still trail England's first innings total by 167 runs. The man to stand tall amid the flurry of wickets at the other end was Marnus Labuschagne, who finished day 3 on 44 not out from 88 balls received. Accompanied by Mitchell Marsh, 1 not out from 27 balls received, they will resume, if or when the match resumes at all after the anticipated bad weather, with Australia on 113 for 4 and still needing 163 further runs to ensure England have to bat again for victory. Act 2. Daydreaming. Resuming this morning on a first innings total of 384 for 4 and a crucial 67 run lead, England's task, headed by their captain Ben Stokes, was a simple one. Score big runs and score them quickly. This was achieved in the grandest of fashion by firstly Stokes himself, who alongside the other not-out batsman from last evening, Harry Brook, both rattled their respective ways to half-centuries in the opening half hour of play. Stokes was the more aggressive of the two as he scooted from his overnight score of 24-51 before he inside edged the delivery from opposing captain Pat Cummins, crashing into his stumps as he continued to chase for quick runs. Both Stokes and Brooks should have been run out in the early going this morning, but both survived, with Brooke following his captain with a half century before he too edged his way to his demise, top edging a hook shot to Mitchell Stark on the boundary to give Josh Hazlewood his second wicket of the innings, the second of an overall 5 wickets in the innings for the tall paceman from Tamworth, New South Wales. Following the departure of Stokes came the cameo innings of the day from Johnny Bairstow. With the ethos of chasing quick runs still the only item on the England agenda, the Yorkshireman cruised to a runnable half-century, reaching his 50th with a towering boundary 6 that set the tone for the onslaught that followed. Running out of partners, Bairstow raced through the 60s, the 70s and the 80s before being joined in the last wicket stand by James Anderson, and whilst the veteran bowler held his ground and supported him, Bairstow farmed the strike when not crashing the ball to the boundary for quick runs. 99 not out from just 81 balls received, Bairstow was left agonisingly just 1 run short of an Ashes Test match century as Anderson was finally dismissed by Cameron Green, but Bairstow left the field to the rapturous acclaim of yet another sellout Old Trafford crowd before receiving the biggest of smiles and the heartiest of pats on the back from his captain. 99 not out in an Ashes Test match. But Bairstow's job was done, as was England, and with 50 or so minutes leading to the tea break, they had an almost certain match-winning lead of 275 runs, and with 2 full days remaining in this Test match, this incredible Ashes series could still go to the Oval with the score 2-2 and effectively a one-off Test match to decide the Ashes. Act 3. Karma Police. But therein lies the rub. It's exactly 12:18 on a dark and early Saturday morning after the Friday night before, and it's raining. Okay, I may be 2 hours away from Manchester, but if the weather reports and those damn doom mongers are to be believed, it's going to rain everywhere here in England for the entirety of Saturday into Sunday, completely washing out today's play and threatening the viability of any play on a Sunday, also threatened with heavy rain showers. Best case scenario seems to suggest, weather permitting, a couple of hours play or maybe an elongated session of play on Sunday at best, unless we all forget England have to win this Test match to have any hope remaining in this series. A drawn game here in Manchester, Australia retain the Ashes regardless of what happens at the Oval next week. So I'm wrapping this diary entry early to perform some reverse rain dances. I may even recreate Tim Robbins' hands on knees prayers to the Almighty in the pouring rain after escaping Shawshank prison. I also think we're going to need a bigger boat. See you tomorrow, weather permitting. So that brings us to the end of another episode from the Blackford Book Club. There'll be links below for ways to buy this particular book that I'm immensely proud of, as well as other ways of supporting me. But I leave you without stumbling and bumbling over the end, in peace and in solidarity. And I do sincerely thank you for watching.